How are you feeling? It's been
Uh,
3 months almost.
yeah, it's been feel really good. Feel you know rejuvenated. I think haven't had this much time off in over the winter and in my life probably, but so tried to take care of myself, get better, do things that I otherwise wouldn't do, and get ready for coming back.
Given the nature of this injury, was there a mental hurdle to get over? Sort of like a hitter getting a beanball from, a
Yeah,
pitcher kind of thing?
yeah, I think so. I think early on you are real tentative. I think you start out kind of on your own too, so you don't really think about anything because everything that you can control is pretty simple to deal with, I would say. But yeah, as you're introducing other guys, throughout this time, other guys were practicing with me here or there, um, and what have you. And you added more pucks, you added more bodies, more chaos, and certainly those things come up, and you have to find a way to deal with them and work through them in the proper manner. And because I know if there's one thing in this league, you can't be hesitant about anything, and you certainly can't let yourself back on the ice if you're in a real situation. If you're dealing with other stuff, it just doesn't work like that.
Can you tell us what exactly the injuries were?
Yeah, I had a tiny fracture in my there, and there's the temporal artery, it's called, was cut, and that was all the blood and all that stuff, and that was at the time the scarier. It still is, I guess, but the scarier of anything that happened.
Just all the blood and everything like
Yeah, yeah. I think whenever you see that much blood, you get a little weary of what's happening and stuff. And I'm sure that I lost a little bit that day, but they do say you get a lot of blood to the brain, so that's a good thing for me.
In the moment, did you think, were you scared? Did you know it was a
Um,
near-death experience?
yeah, I think it was kind of survival-ish. I was just kind of, when you see blood, you're just like, what do I have to do to get out of here, kind of thing. And that's what I was feeling like. I think kind of even in the moment, you don't think about the pain as much as just what you what you think is the best thing to do. Just like when someone else gets hit, what do you do? If there's blood, you're reaching for something, or you're going whatever. Everybody on the bench jumps up, and that's no different with the person getting injured too. I think every injury is different, certainly, but in some way, shape, or form, that's what everyone's doing.
Labby said you look great out there in practice. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge when you get back to the game next week?
Just timing. I think you can't recreate game situations. You can't recreate, real life plays. What consequences if you don't do this right, or if you don't do that right, or the length of anything, and mentally. I think mentally is, you know, I bet if you did a study in a regular season game, a very important game, the guy skated this hard, this is his heart rate, yada yada yada,
Right.
and then in a playoff game, the mental aspect of the game is so important that it tires you out very quickly. The next day, you feel run down, and that's kind of like what it is returning. And these guys, they don't feel that same mental pressure that you put on yourself, that you put on everything around you, that you're all of a sudden the noise, everything that goes into it is a lot of stimulation, and you build up a tolerance to all that, and then when you come back from sitting around and skating at here, it's different kind of intensity, it's a different kind of aware on the body and the mind.
that? Has the decision been made that you definitely will play? Are there any medical hurdles you still?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to play, but technically, I would say no.
No.
No, I mean no, meaning anything could happen, but I would expect to play. That would be my
Important for you to play
expectation.
regardless of what the situation in the standing is.
Yeah, I think my expectation to play is based off of putting myself in no harm right now versus in a year from now, and next September, and 2 Septembers from now, and 5 Septembers from now. I think I'm not coming back if there's a risk of anything. So whether that is now or in 5 years, that's when I'll be back.
Are you going to Minnesota? Are you traveling?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay. The reason I ask is, just getting back into the routine. Just how good has that been for you, spirit-wise, mentally-wise, kind of just getting back to what you did?
Yeah, and I think this is kind of a tough time of year to come back to, because they're, like I talked about, that mental strain, what these guys have been dealing with, day in and day out, backs against the wall kind of feelings. That there's a lot of that going on in the room right now too. So as much as it would be great for me to practice for an hour, like if I could hand pick and do that every single day, that's what I would be best for me. But that's not what's best for anyone else.
You've been remarkably durable over 13, 14 years. I think there's only, from the start of your first full season in the league, there's only 4 defensemen that have played more games than you. Does it feel, I don't know, do you feel robbed in a way that it was such a fluke thing that knocked you out for half a season?
Yeah, I think that the majority of injuries longer in nature are kind of the freakier, the things that you can't control. You break, I broke my ankle, or people break their wrist, or they block a shot and they bust their knee, whatever it is. Most of the injuries are the soft tissue stuff is more, I would say, barring the few ACLs and torn groins or something like that. That's just all things that you can't really control. Can you get out of the way of a puck? I don't know. A lot of the times you want to. This time I didn't, but in other injuries that I've had, you did want to get in front of a shot or whatever. So I guess you don't really think about it when there isn't much. I think when you're out with a soft injury thing, what could I have done better? Could I have warmed up better? Could I have strengthened that better? Could I have been more, whatever in the summer to change all those things? But in situations like this, at least you don't have to, that doesn't weigh on your mind in terms of preparation or anything like that.
You mentioned the team having their backs against the wall. When you went out of the line, it was kind of the apex of the season for you guys. O had his 2 goals that night to pass Gordy. You guys were in the middle of winning 10 of 11 games. And what's it been like for you to watch over the last 3 months where they haven't been able to get any traction? And it's an unfamiliar feeling for guys to have their backs to the wall at this stage of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I don't like to comment on anything, because I'm just sitting there like anybody else right now and watching the games and all that, and trying to, keep spirits high and do the only thing I can do is just get prepared, I guess. But, it's a difficult situation when you are playing and things aren't going the way that you expect them to. And certainly when you're not playing, it's, it's really difficult. I think any coach will tell you the hardest part, about coaching is just not having any control over the players on the ice. And when you feel like when you're on the ice, you feel like you have a say in anything, even though maybe you're not actually on the ice, but you're on the bench. You still have an effect on the game. You have an effect on your teammates. At that time, you just, it feels a lot different than not, and that's tough. It's tough emotionally to see how hard they're battling and see how things are going. And like I said, every night it seems like it's a must win, and it's difficult to play a long period of time like that. That's what makes winning a championship so hard is that grind, and both physically and day after day, laying it all on the line. There's guys battling it out, battling through things, dealing with a lot of different things, and trying to get in here. And I'm sure any team that makes it to the finals will tell you how banged up everyone is, and how much emotional wherewithal it takes to put yourselves in that position. And yeah, it's different, but it's similar to what we're doing right now. And me not playing and coming in and tailor making whatever I'm doing each day, and how I feel and all that is fine tuned, and theirs is, you know, show up and deal with everything that's going on. It's difficult being on the outside.
Did you have to deal with any other after effects, like headaches, anything like that? Or-
No, I was lucky just to deal with pain. It was more painful for a decent amount of time, but no, still no headaches, or I never had any kind of concussive symptoms or anything like that. Which, who know? I mean, my protocol was basically returning from a serious head injury, anyways. You know, meaning concussion wise, I would say, but never diagnosed with a concussion or anything like that.
John, Max said that you had like a set time frame for when before you can even start to think to play. Are you at the end of that yet, or are you still?
Yeah, that's where we're kind of coming down to, and that's why I'm talking to you guys right now.
Was it 3 months from the injury, or?
It's a rolling target.
Okay.
It's not set in stone. Like I said, I would like to play soon. That's my goal. That's what, you know, from earlier on had in mind. And, you know, I think the major hurdles are behind me, certainly. And my expectation would be to play soon.